feel, hello, gram-positive exotoxin. It's going to release exotoxins to irritate your bowel. So what are they going to do? They're going to try to restore your natural balance by giving you probiotics, maybe some prebiotics to help your probiotics grow. They might actually give you more antibiotic therapy to try to get rid of the C. diff the best they can. It's going to kill off more of your normal flora too, and you're still going to need probiotics and prebiotics.
I know you talked about it before, do they still do that fecal transplant?
And they can do fecal transplant. You can look at YouTube, they've got some videos about fecal transplant. What? What? Oh. You know that show, The Doctors? There's a YouTube video of him, whatever that doctor's name is, where he had a little kid who had a fecal transplant from his mom. And it helped him. But that kid had problems. He had some kind of a medical problem that was what caused the whole thing in the long run. Okay, so reasons for side effect. Allergic reactions, disruption of normal flora, yeast infections, C. diff are two examples. Another reason for side effects, the drug hits something in the patient when it's supposed to be hitting something in the bacterial cells. So the selective toxicity feature, not so good. So the drug hits something in the patient while targeting something in the bacteria. Our example for that one was tetracycline targeting ribosomes. Bacteria have ribosomes, but so do our cells. Therefore, you get the gray teeth because of the improper development of proteins for the growth of the teeth and the bones. Last reason for side effects. Development of antibiotic resistance. Development of antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria is actually considered a side effect of antibiotic therapy. When you write your lab notes or whatever, or when you take your test question, I want you to remember, because students say some of the goofiest things sometimes. The bacteria are resistant to the antibiotic, not the patient. They'll say, oh, she's resistant to that drug. We gave her that drug already. It didn't work. She's resistant to it. She's not resistant to the drug. The bacteria in her are resistant to the drug. But many times you'll hear medical people say, oh, the patient's resistant to that. They don't mean the patient is. They mean the microbes in the patient are resistant to the antibiotic, okay? So the bacteria are resistant to the antibiotic, not the patient. Sometimes I hear that. How do they get resistant? We talked about transduction, transformation, conjugation. That might be how they get resistant. And did I write all the superbugs on the board for you?
Yes, please.
Did I mention CRE, carbamazepine-resistant Enterobacter or Enterobacter species, or Enterobacteriaceae? And multiple drug-resistant TB. What's XDR-TB? Extensively resistant TB. There's even an XDR-TB. You're like, oh my God. So there's multi-drug resistant TB, and then there's XDR-TB, which is extensively resistant TB. The world's just getting crazier and crazier.
What does it mean? It just slows that?
It means you're going to die of tuberculosis. It means that there's nothing we can do to help you. All the drugs that we have are not working. That's when they got to go in and cut out your lung. Depending on how much of your lung the TB has infected. You know, they have to cut out the part where most TB tubercles are found. But what if the tubercles are throughout the lung? Yeah, you're just right. Yeah, get a lung transplant. That would be the answer to that, I guess. I guess that would be it. You know what CRKP is? Carbamazepine-resistant Klebsiella pneumoniae. Remember that one? CRKP. You remember Acinetobacter? Acinetobacter is what I call it, but a lot of people say Acinetobacter. Acinetobacter, Dalmanii, the Iraqi bacteria. That's the new superbug. chapter. What's cross resistance? Cross resistance. Two drugs that are similar. If the bacterium develops resistance to one drug, it automatically gives it resistance to the similar drug. So cross resistance means the bacteria are resistant to all related drugs. All drugs of a certain category. That's where carbapenem resistant comes in. If it's resistant to that category of drugs, carbapenems, it's resistant to all drugs in that category. It's not just resistant to vancomycin, it's resistant to all drugs in that category. So cross-resistant is when the bacteria develop resistance to one drug, but that gives it resistance to all related drugs as well. Let's see what else we got. Okay. Yes.
I have a kind of stupid question. Can virus develop resistance to drugs?
Well, they actually do evolve, just like anything else, because they're subjected to certain pressures. The drugs that we use against them, though, kind of don't give them a chance to develop resistance to it. But, yes, I think it can happen. So the drugs we use for viruses now, one is base analogs. So we have to talk about viruses, so we might as well just do that. But base analogs are, remember nucleotide, sugar, phosphate, nitrogenous base. A nucleoside analog, a nucleotide analog, a base analog, whatever you want to call it, the base, the letter, instead of being the actual A, is something that kind of looks like A, but it's not really A. It's an imposter. Okay, when a virus gets inside a host cell, the virus can't replicate its genome. The host cell has to do it for the virus. So the host cell's replicating the virus's genome, and what's he got to have? Free nucleotides available, right? So he's going to pick up these base analog nucleotides, the phony nucleotides with the bad letters, and build the viral genome including these bad nucleotides with the bad letters. So the virus is not going to be able to function. Genetically, it's like a mutation. So it forces the virus to make all these mistakes, and the virus can't survive. Another way to get viruses is interfere with the enzymes that they need to be replicated. Now, sometimes the host cell does all the replicating and provides all the enzymes. But some viruses are kind of funky, and they have to be replicated a different way than the host cell normally does. So they have to provide special enzymes to make the host cell replicate a different way. If we can interfere with those viral enzymes, the viral genomes can't be replicated. I forgot what your question was, so I hope I answered it.
If a virus can get resistant to
Oh yeah, so what a virus would have to do somehow is perhaps make another enzyme or have a gene to make an enzyme that would disable the drug that would interfere with their enzymes in the first place. Theoretically, I don't know why it couldn't happen. I think it would just be harder to happen because viral genomes are very small. The other thing is the virus would have to somehow recognize and avoid or disarm the base analogs. But remember, it's not the virus doing the replicating, it's the host cell. So you'd make the host cell recognize the bad drugs. So I don't know how that would work. The whole problem with viruses is they're inside the host cell. So anything you do to the virus, you're also gonna do to the host cell, which is us. That's the problem. I know, tricky. One thing they wanna do is, well, never mind, that's about bacteria. Okay, let's go on to viruses, since we got 25 minutes. Just check this. What's chapter 11? What is it? I thought that was chapter 10. Oh, no, chapter 10. Oh, that's bacteriology. We do that way. Okay. We disregard that. Because I actually kind of don't teach exactly in order, because the chapters are weird. And we do bacteriology in chapter 3 and 4, and then we come back to it in chapter 15, whatever. Okay, so let's go to viruses. Okay, why did I pick this picture? This picture is not from your textbook. I put this picture in. I like this picture because it shows you a bacteriophage and a virus that infects human cells together. Interesting that it's the Journal of Human Virology when that's a bacteriophage. So how do you tell a bacteriophage from a human cell virus?